Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Topps Huddle, the officially licensed NFL digital trading card app. Collect and trade your cards and use your collection to compete in daily fantasy-style gameplay. Download it for free in the App Store or Google Play and get 10 free packs today. All right, enjoy the show.
This is the Art of Wrestling with professional wrestler Colt Cabana.
All right, how you guys doing? Come on in, sit down, relax. Let's do it. You're about to listen to The Art of Wrestling, a professional wrestling podcast. It's a life podcast. It's a personal journal. It's an entryway into the minds, the souls, the hearts, and lives of the people involved in the world of professional wrestling. I am your host. My name is Colt Cabana. I am a podcaster. I am a professional wrestler. Most importantly, I am a Chicago Cubs fan, and we are sitting here live in the studio apartment in Chicago, Illinois. Before I go any further, this is a fan-supported and listener-supported podcast supported by people just like you. We give it to you free of charge every single Thursday on ColtCabana.com, SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts from. A couple great ways that you can support, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Tell your friend, let people know. Twitter it out, Facebook it out, Instagram it out, text it out. Tell your mom. She might like it. Who knows? Best way to support, though, ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com, t-shirts, buttons, pictures, posters, DVDs, digital downloads. It's the best way that you can support. ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com. All right, I'm recording this right after the Cubs won in Wrigley Field while I was there. Super exciting. And tomorrow I wake up, I jump on the plane, I get to Japan, and then when I land to Japan, the first thing I'm going to do is upload this, and hopefully it will make it in time. That's the goal. That's where I'm at right now. That's how this thing is working. It's fit in. It's getting done. A lot of bragging going on. Sitting at the Cubs game. Went to Pittsburgh. We won the wild card. Went to both games in Wrigley. We won both times. Wore my Doug DeCenzo shirt. And Punk wore his Jose Vizcaíno shirt. Good luck t-shirts. So when I'm in Tokyo, Japan, or Osaka, Japan, you see pictures of me in a Doug DeCenzo blue Chicago Cubs t-shirt, you're going to know things are going to be just okay. It's I don't know if it's sad. This is a wrestling podcast. I get it. I remember being in Europe when the Boston Red Sox won for the very first time. It was 3 a.m. Me and Brody Steele were in Liverpool, Birkenhead to be more specific, just us two in a house, in a lonely house. And we stayed up and we watched the Boston Red Sox win the World Series. Now, I'm not going to say that's exactly what's going to happen, but it seems weird. It seems like a situation that might be the same kind of situation out of the country, away from our national pastime, in Japan, stuck on a tour, because I get back November 8th, so who knows what's going to happen. But I am putting my hands together and praying to Harry Caray, who is my new god. Or you know what, if you want this to be a wrestling podcast, Jack Brickhouse, who did some intros for WCW in like the late 80s. Very weird, but was a Chicago Cubs commentator. Dear Jack Brickhouse, hey, please do your thing. I don't want to jinx it anymore. That's where I stand with that. Eugene is on the show, Eugene Dinsmore. And he's a repeat. I had him on before. I had him before he went to the WWE to be a trainer, to train the future. And now he's back from the WWE. He's back on the independents, and he is now living in North Dakota, and he is starting the North Dakota wrestling scene. I was on Marty DeRosa's podcast, Wrestling with Depression, and I said how there is like no wrestling in Idaho. There might be a little bit in Sioux Falls, North Dakota. I don't really think so. So Eugene is going to bring that scene alive with a show Saturday, November 7th, and a training center called Midwest All-Pro Wrestling, MidwestAllPro.com. If you're in that area, if you want to go out there, if you want to check out wrestling, Eugene, that wrestling star, you remember him? He's now one of you. He's a local. Eugene Dinsmore is one of my favorite. He's just one of these guys who's been in wrestling and he's staying in wrestling. He's one of my favorites. And I think a part of him wanted to come on and wanted to really let, a company have it. And then I think a company really helped him or helped somebody allegedly with a shoulder. And so then allegedly he didn't want to allegedly say, what he really allegedly wanted to allegedly. So this is just a conversation. with Dinsmore and I, which I'm happy to have because that's what the show is. It's not meant to, start allegedly people. It's just meant to talk about our lives and talk about wrestling. So we and he can talk about wrestling all day, and I think that's the point, right? We're wasting your hour of the week. That's all I'm here to do, and it's a good one. It's a good wasting of an hour. Eugene is great. One of my favorites. I mean, I just, you know who loved Eugene? I did Ari Shafir's podcast when I was in Edinburgh. And if you don't know Ari Shafir, he has a show on Comedy Central, and he's part of that Joe Rogan clan, and he's great. He's a great comedian. I remember when I did Wrestling Society X, and we went to the Comedy Store, I remember seeing Ari Shafir at the Comedy Store. I remember Ruckus going crazy over the fact that he was the amazing racist. That was a character that Ari played earlier in his career. And Ari came to a bunch of ICW shows. He loved it. He had a great time in Scotland. And he kept on saying his love for Eugene. Eugene was weirdly like his favorite wrestler. He's like, oh, man, Eugene? You remember Eugene? He was great. Eugene. And I couldn't agree more. You know who else is great? Cards Against Humanity. Last time we were on a Noah tour, we played a giant game of Cards Against Humanity on the ferry. There was just 8, 9, 10 American wrestlers playing this great game on the ferry, going from one place to another. We had time to kill, and we did it. And they're also now going to let us use their space in Chicago, Logan Square. Marty and I are doing a comedy show, the Wednesday, the night before Thanksgiving. So come on out to that. Tickets at coltcabana.com. That's it. I mean, the next couple weeks, it's going to be very Japanese heavy. You're going to be hearing the stories. Maybe I'll have some guys on early to talk about what we're doing, like I have in the past with Chris Hero. I'm sure Chris will be on the show in some form or another. That seems to be a thing. Last week was fun. I went to a wrestling wedding. Kurt Hawkins, congratulations. Got married. Brian Myers, sorry. And Punk attempted to make a Hornswoggle video go viral as he fell down the stairs. To add to a little person's enough, and then just add to eating shit down the stairs. And you know who I saw there? I guess, it's private. It's nobody's business. But I got to see Tyson Kidd, and he was moving his neck. And so the stories from Tyson, and, hopefully we'll get Tyson back on the show. Who knows with the allegedly's rules. But, I mean, he was... these aren't my stories, but he wasn't even supposed to be alive. He wasn't even supposed to be, if even better, he wasn't even supposed to be walking. And here he is at a wedding, no neck brace, doing squats before he's going there. He's an amazing dude, Tyson Kidd. And it was great to see him. That really put a smile on my face that he was able to walk and move around like a normal person. He is a strong dude in many more ways than physicality. After that, doubled it up, did a show, Us Versus Them, in Connecticut. Ron Loves Music, one of my favorite people of all time. He's a fan out there. Check him out at Twitter, at Ron Loves Music, a personal favorite of Marty DeRosa and I. He told me I haven't been to Connecticut in 6 years. 6 years. Last time I was there, CTWE Wrestling Road Diaries 1 was filmed. I wrestled Tommaso. I told him he had no birthday. 6 years, the last time, Wrestling Road Diaries. And in the next couple of weeks, there's going to be a Wrestling Road Diaries announcement. I'll just say that. For those of you who listen to the front part, you'll be excited about that. And it's all set up. The flights have been bought. The tickets have been bought. It's going to happen. And I'm excited about it. And I know you're going to be excited about it. So be on the lookout for that. But I was back in Connecticut, and I'll finish it up with this story. I asked the promoter, where do I go? What's the address? And he goes, 8 o'clock. Here's the address, whatever it might be. And then he writes, bring a sweater. And I'm reading this, and I got Punk next to me, and I go, bring a sweater. What does that mean? In all my years of wrestling, no one's ever said bring a sweater. And I didn't know if it was like I'm giving you the address. I'm being motherly. This is kind of a motherly joke. I couldn't put it together. I had no clue. Bring a sweater. It was a nice-ish day. And then when I got there, it all finally came to me. October 10th, East Coast, wrestling in a parking lot. Holy shit. Was it cold? Bring a sweater. Oh, because I'm wrestling in a parking lot and you never told me this. Wow. Literally, he just meant it. Bring a sweater because it's going to be cold. And you're wrestling in a parking lot. Should have known. I should have known. It was a good show, and there's a lot of great talent there. But that one threw me for a loop. And did I get mad? No. I laughed it off. Made some jokes. That's what I do. Made a lot of jokes at the expense maybe of the promoter. I don't know. Myself. There was a lot of stars there who didn't care either. That's the great thing. Like, no one really cared. I just thought it was a funny story. Bring a sweater. All right, let's start getting in this podcast. So put those earbuds in and make sure you got your sweaters on. Song of the Week this week is brought to you by Harry's. Yes, Harry's Razors. Shaving is a pain. Let Harry's make it painless, by being super convenient and affordable. Harry's is about half the price of the other big brand blades, and it ships for free. Original German blades that Harry's likes so much, they bought the factory. Why pay $32 for 8 blades? Get a starter kit for only $15, which is a razor, moisturizing cream, and 3 blades. Then take $5 off for first-time orders with my code WRESTLING. Get it all for $10 and free shipping. Stop asking people to open the plexiglass cabinets and start having them conveniently shipped free to your door. Even if it's not for you, it makes the perfect gift for friends, family, or your favorite podcast host. Harry's has been with us for a while. Go support them. They're great. I just got myself 8 razors. I'm going to use them for Japan. Go to harrys.com now. Get that $5 off with the coupon code WRESTLING on your first purchase. harrys.com, coupon code WRESTLING. Save a $5 and start shaving better today. The song this week was suggested by Gary and is from the band Joint Pop from the Caribbean island of Trinidad and Tobago. Did I say that right? Tobago? Check them out at jointpop.com and Twitter at jointpop. The song is Mil Mascaras. It's very good. Enjoy it. We'll be back with Eugene.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Of course, you've seen DraftKings.com all over the place, and now you're hearing about it here. Your season-long fantasy football team may be doing strong, but you don't have to wait until Week 16 to get paid. Put your fantasy skills to the test every week this season at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. 1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Did you draft all those dudes who are now sitting on the sidelines? No problem. It's basically a new season every week. You're never stuck with the same scrubs if they go down, that is. DraftKings is crowning a new millionaire every week this season. Turn your love of football into a life-changing payday. Just pick your players, pile up the points, and pick up your cash. That's it. You've never experienced football like this before. This isn't fantasy as usual. It's DraftKings. It's the big time. Hurry to DraftKings.com now and use the promo code WRESTLE to play for free for a shot at $1 million in this week's Millionaire Maker event. DraftKings.com. Use that code WRESTLE. DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
We're on.
We're on? Okay.
We're on.
Check 129er.
Okay, so you were just on the we did a live one, and that was kind of shticky.
That was all my one-liners. Well, yeah. all my stolen one-liners that I put in my pocket that Freight Train did not laugh at any of them.
Well, I wonder what Freight Train does laugh at. You know, like it's up in the air. But I did want to make this one like, I mean, not like more serious, but you know, like this isn't Eugene. This is Eugene Dinsmore. Is that a thing?
Eugene is a complex man.
Well, no, I don't know. Is he?
Eugene, no. Nick Dinsmore is sheets of complex.
Nick, yeah. Oh, am I allowed to say that? Sorry.
What?
Nick Dinsmore.
Nick Dinsmore, yes, that's my name.
Yeah. So I mean, but listen, we talked. You were on the podcast before, and we kind of went over like the journey and the struggle, right? And a fun one. I mean, you're still in. What do you? How many years into wrestling now?
I started in '96, so just about 19-ish, right?
That's so. First of all, do you want to know what's crazy about that? And maybe there's others like that, like. Because if you started in '96, I started in '99, which is only 3 years in when I started. But like, and maybe because you were a fast tracked guy almost, right? So and I don't know what fast track, but as opposed to my like, well, God, I would say my long journey. But I mean, I guess after 2 or 3 years, I was in Ring of Honor, so like it wasn't that long. But when I started, you know, it was just like, here's this guy who's been around forever, and you'd only been in 3 years or 4 years at the time. So it's kind of weird when, obviously you're a long veteran, but I think of you as this veteran of many years. But like, you know, only have a couple years on me.
Yeah, I mean, I was real fortunate, you know, having trained at OVW before they became the developmental system. And then being there when they became the developmental system, that's what changed my life. Because if I would have been anywhere else, if I would have went to the Hendersonville Jerry Jarrett School of Wrestling like I'd planned, I don't think I would have gotten signed, or it would have taken a lot longer. But being in Louisville, and then Danny Davis signs the contract with WWE, and I happened to be there. I mean, I was fortunate. I was in the right place at the right time. But you know,
you weren't related to Danny. That's Conway. Is Conway related to
no,
Danny? Is that
no,
what it was?
Nobody is.
Nobody's related.
I was his prodigal son, so to speak. Doug is. Doug is Danny's ex-wife's nephew.
Doug Basham.
Doug Basham is, yeah.
Through the weird, because there's like a clique of you guys, right? Wouldn't there be? I guess the OVW originals or what?
Yep.
Were you guys as you wonder about these cliques in the world, like the clique or like NWO? Were you guys like super close, or is it just like you guys were all mushed together in a group?
Well, like we were close, like at OVW, but then once we got on the road, like Conway and I are still close, and I spoke to him this week. But like Doug and Danny were on SmackDown when Rob and I were on Raw. So I mean, we were friends, but that clique-esque wasn't as tight. But we're still, you know, we'd still chit chat.
What was the Jerry Jarrett Henderson School?
I don't
Jerry
remember.
or Jeff?
No, it was Jerry. It was the Jarrett School of Wrestling in Hendersonville. I remember I used to watch USWA growing up in Louisville, and the commercial was, you know, join the Hendersonville Jerry Jarrett School of Wrestling. Come down and sign up. And I don't know. I don't know anybody that came out of it.
Yeah. Now, excuse my ignorance. Jerry Jarrett was a promoter.
That was Jeff Jarrett's father. He was a wrestler and then a promoter.
Was he a good wrestler?
He was over. He was over in the Memphis territory.
Do you remember him as a wrestler?
No.
But you know, you heard. Would you hear stories?
Like the older guys used to go to Louisville Gardens. I remember when Jerry Jarrett, he had the first scaffold match. He'd come out here and he'd whoop up Tojo Yamamoto and blah blah blah.
Who would tell these stories? Who were the storytellers?
Most of the time, it was guys that would sign up for the class in OVW that used to watch USWA. The guys that were 42, 45 years old that just wanted to try it. You know,
it wasn't even like the guys in the locker room that were there. You're just saying guys that were.
Yeah, it
dudes
was
that
fans.
were just went as fans.
It was fans.
Who were the storytellers in the locker rooms when you first started, though?
Well, you had Buddy Landell on not too long ago. God rest his soul. He was a good one. Tommy Rich was always looking for a shaving kit.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Where's my goddamn shaving kit? Who took my goddamn... Never mind. I found it. Got it, guys. Never mind. Calm down. Jamie and Wolfie were running around being Jamie and Wolfie. You know, and I was 19 years old at the time, so I was sitting back in the corner, scared to death.
So like I'm on... we do these independent shows. I'm on these shows where like... this is a good thing that I'd like to know because... So... And I don't even know. So we talk about like... Seeing Tommy Rich on these shows, guys that I saw, you know, Adam Pearce is a good example. He would go down and do some Southern shows, and like he would always say, like Tommy Rich was down there, and always on. These guys are on every show, right? Doug and or not
Doug Gilbert,
Doug Gilbert, but Ricky and Robert,
yep,
they're on every show down.
Rock and roll,
yeah. So it's
tell
like,
them who.
It's like at one time they were giant stars.
Yes.
So when you were in these locker rooms with these guys, 96, 97, were they stars or were they just dudes on shows like on the way down-ish or not on the way down or without a platform? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I remember like Nashville, when Nashville, like when USWA closed down 1997, Burt Prentice started running Music City Wrestling out of Nashville.
Which had TV,
Which had, like, from what I was told, 200 some odd cable outlets.
which was in Chicago
Yeah.
after Windy City Wrestling.
Yep.
6:30 a.m.
Yep.
Yes, okay.
And I remember
Style and Shane Eden.
Style and Shane Eden. I was a co-rookie of the year with Style and Shane Eden in 1997. And I remember drawing like 750 people at the Nashville Fairgrounds. And then a couple weeks went by and it was 400, and a couple weeks went by and it was 200, and it progressively got worse because the stars of USWA didn't really wrestle there anymore, and it was this new crop of guys that they didn't know. But guys like the Rock and Roll Express would come in and do a show, and to me they were stars because, you know, I watched them growing up, but it was no different than the shows we do now.
No difference.
No different.
And it's which is weird because I want to think like in my mind and I romanticize them, and I don't know how you do. I don't know if you feel the same way about like shows in '93, like in your mind, maybe, you know, like because I know what I get paid if there's 750 people, and like, you know, I know what like some of the guys on the show get paid, and they're not doing it every week, and it's still weekend warrior stuff for these older guys.
But I mean, the stories that they would tell, like Ricky and Robert would show at the hotel, and the hotel parking lot would be sold out with fans that were going to the show holding up boom boxes. I mean, from what I was told, the reason NWA held on those last couple years before it became WCW is because Rock and Roll Express against the Midnight Express. And from what I've heard, I don't know that that's completely true, but from what I heard, that's what drew beating up Ricky Morton and Bob Eaton missing off the top rope. You know?
Bobby Eaton missing off the top.
Supposedly Bob Eaton got a lifetime contract with WCW. And then all of a sudden his checks just quit showing up one day.
Well, because the company folded.
This was before then. This was like way before then.
Meaning what? Because he was so good?
Yeah, because Ricky and Robert and the Midnight Express kept the company alive in those last couple years before Turner bought it. He was supposedly given by Jim Crockett a lifetime contract, and it didn't pan out.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even like doing good right now, right? Like,
You know, I don't think his health is well. But on an related note,
Okay.
About 2 months ago, I was in Florida, living in Orlando. My fiance and I went to the beach, and we happened to see a speedboat race. And I was like, you know, Stan Lane used to announce these. Turn around, there's the announce team, Stan Lane sitting right there.
it was an event.
Yeah, got my picture with him, got to talk to him, BS with him a little bit. I mean, I was like on cloud nine.
Did he have any clue who you were?
Yeah, he remembered me because he wrestled a couple shows at OVW. A couple. He wrestled one show, like one Bring Back the Fabs show, and he remembered my name. I don't think that he knew me, but when I got to talking to him a little bit, he was like, "Oh yeah, I remember your name."
But like the idea of Eugene, like he wouldn't have known.
I didn't. I said, you know, I was Eugene. My name's Nick Dinsmore. He goes, "Oh, I remember. Yeah, Nick Dinsmore." Yeah.
But I like the idea of like, you know, at one time, you know, and again, I hate saying like at one time. I don't know how do you feel about that? Like that's kind of weird for you and for me, right?
It is what it is. You know what I mean? I mean, the thing is at a certain point, it's like a long time ago. But then with the network and with YouTube, I'll get kids that weren't even born when I was on TV coming to go, "Oh yeah, I saw you on the network. I saw you wrestle Umaga on the network. I saw you shave Eric Bischoff's head on the network."
But that one run was so fucking hot. Like you were on top of the fucking world.
It was, man. Good times, right?
Yeah, but like it's not. Like it does. I don't know. Like I've never achieved that. It's nothing I would ever achieve. It's amazing that you should achieve that. But like, you know, like the reality is we're doing these shows now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been hired and fired by that company, but 10,000
Three times
now, right?
Terry Taylor said he's been fired 5 times, so I've got that record to break.
Sorry about that. I got a little whistle. So Euro, oh, fuck. So I mean, but really, like, do you think about it and get pissed, or
Pissed? No.
that it's like gone, or it's not? You know, like you think about guys. I think about the guys that they feed to Cena now. You know, like almost if that's a situation of like, here come. It's almost like a Hogan situation.
He is
right?
our Hogan.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, but you think about those guys, and back in the day, I didn't even think about him. Like, oh, Kamala, fine, he's gone, and whoever, Elegante's not around, and you were like, you know, you were almost like that guy that was kind of like up there and now kind of gone a little bit. Sorry to say, that's a shit thing to say.
It's not sorry to say, but I mean, you know, I set out on this journey to have an action figure, which I have. I got the teddy bear. I got the T-shirt. I was at WrestleMania in a segment with Hogan. You know what I mean? I was in the ring with The Rock. I wrestled Vince McMahon and pinned Vince McMahon. The guy that put himself over on God, I pinned Vince McMahon. You know what I mean? So, am I upset that it's over? Of course. You know, you never think the run is going to stop. You know, you always think it's going to last longer than it really lasts. But am I pissed off? No way, man. It was a dream come true.
When you were in it, and this is something I'd like to know of, like the paranoia of to keep it going. Was that there? Was it because there's some guys, and I don't know. I've heard about this. You know, I know Daniel Bryan as a friend. I know his attitude. I've not been there, but like, you know, they say he just goes with the flow, and he kept flowing. And there's some guys who are so crazy, and you know about. Manipulating or maniacal about making sure that you know, I don't know what kind of guy you were or where your headspace was, I guess.
I mean, really, like the big rise up to Triple H, Kurt Angle was such a whirlwind. Like the first run was such a whirlwind that I wasn't thinking how to keep it going. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? You know, because I'd wrestled for 10 years and then all of a sudden it was like, boom. I mean, overnight success. I mean, I was noticed by people. You know, and then I got injured, hurt my knee, so I was trying to get back. And then once I got back, it was just, it was such a whirlwind that, you know, I wasn't.
I don't remember the timeline. Was the knee where it started going down a little, or?
It was like 04 is when I started on TV, and then I got injured in January of 05. So I had a good 8-month run with Triple H, and then leading into the tag team titles, and then got injured. And then I came back with Kurt Angle, and the push wasn't as strong, but, you know, the people still remembered.
Right.
And, like, I wasn't paranoid to keep my position. It was just, I mean, it was just, you know how it is. When you're in that tunnel, you're just doing it day to day, and it's like, how do I get through this match? How do I get through today? How do I do the best that I can with what I'm given?
Were you going to writers with stuff, or were you just like, here's some stuff, this is what we're doing?
A little bit, but Brian Gerwitz wrote most of Eugene's stuff, and it was so good. He was just like, here's what we're going to do today. You know, and I was like, okay, and I tried to make it as best as I could.
So he's the dude, he's the Rock's dude, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And so that's almost like I assume... like if I was up there, I would hope that he would be like, "Oh, there's something I really enjoy about writing about Scotty Goldman," and you hope that he like catches it.
Absolutely.
So you had that thing where that guy wanted to write for you.
Yeah, and then when The Rock came back, he had all that laid out. You know, he knew what the Rock was gonna, the interaction and everything. I mean,
he smelled what the Rock was.
I smelled it all night long, brother. You know, I mean, Brian was great to me. He wrote well for me. He even wrote a movie for Eugene.
Get out of here.
Yeah, and
I kind of maybe.
Yeah. So it was a movie about a guy that wasn't so good socially.
And I don't remember.
And he was an orphan.
I don't remember what we talked about last one too. So I'm wondering.
And then he ends up becoming a professional wrestler. But I don't know this for sure. I didn't see Big Show's movie Knucklehead.
Okay.
But from the previews.
Oh, you're not alone on not seeing that, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, but from the previews and from what I saw, I mean, I think that's either the same movie or a similar.
Was it written by him in the credits?
Yeah. From Brian. Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Maybe not.
Have you done anything like that?
Movies?
Yeah.
No, nothing I know of.
Nothing. Just weather. Just weather shows.
Yeah.
You just did the weather, right? Like I'm going out and like I'm doing acting stuff and whatever. Like, does that? I mean, do you try for any of that, or like do you use what you got?
That isn't the passion, and I'm not. I mean, if it fell in my lap, I would take it. Absolutely. You know, I think I told you I did the stuff in India with TNA with the Rinka King, and supposedly there's a bunch of Bengali films because the doctor Nicholas Dinsmore is like over in India, but I haven't really pursued that so much.
What's a Bengali film?
I think it's like a Bollywood type film.
And there's films about the Doctor Nick. Wait,
no,
what?
no. The when I was on TV there, the first Rinka King television show got like 25 million viewers,
which was also deemed as a non-success, right?
Supposedly, yes. Well, okay, so
for 25 million, like I get it.
25 million viewers to start out was the most watched professional wrestling show of all time.
All time.
This is what I'm told. And the Dr. Nicholas was the first match. So when people tuned in, I was the first thing they saw. But supposedly, in Indian culture, most households have one TV. And from whatever time until 8 o'clock, the women have control of the TV. But from 8 o'clock until whenever, the men do. And supposedly, Rinka King aired from 7 to 8. And the women didn't want to watch it. And that is what, supposedly, from what I heard.
Where does this rule come from?
Well, they only have one TV.
You heard of this rule?
No, but
you believed it.
Well, possibly because the women were at the house. And
Should
the
we
guys
call
worked.
Sanjay up right now?
Call him.
And
Call him.
should we get to the bottom of this?
Main Doctor Who, Samja, TK.
Yes. 7. I've never heard of that, and it's so weird. It's also weird that things are different in our culture.
Yeah. But I mean, I remember seeing like teepees and huts of families. And like the men, it was always like, not always, but sometimes around a construction site, the men would be working construction and the women and the families lived there and they would walk to get water every day because we were given catering and bottles of water and just too much. So Salvio Vega and I started taking it to these villages that we saw. And they would take the food, but they wanted the water. I mean, they would go ape shit over the water. And then, like, it was always women and children, but the men would be working. So I could see where that could be. Like, they'd all have satellites and one TV in their little teepee. And I could see, like, the women watching, you know, whatever it is until a certain time the man comes home and then he switches over to what he wants to watch.
Hanging out with Savio Vega for a long time, probably.
Oh, we were in India for 3 months.
You and Savio.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did a couple shows for him in Puerto Rico in 05.
Savio's awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to have him on the show, I think.
Absolutely.
Good dude?
Absolutely. Like I was scared. Like Dutch Mantel came to me, called me up. I want you to go to India and work on this project. Whatever you want, Dutch. I literally got on a plane and went to India because Dutch asked me to. I didn't know where I was going, what I was doing, who I was meeting, what I was getting paid. And I get there. I'm in the India air in the Mumbai airport.
Also, sorry to stop you, but that says a lot for you and your love for wrestling. Like,
Yeah.
not even like caring what you got paid. It's just like, what, India? Yeah, okay,
let's go.
fine.
I'm on.
Yeah.
So I had a number of a guy that was supposed to pick me up, but I didn't want to use my phone because I didn't want to pay the charges to have it overseas. So I asked a guy that worked at the airport, had an airport thing on his shirt. Said, can you call this guy's number for me and ask him where he is? Oh, he's not here. You're supposed to take a taxi to the hotel. Get in this taxi right here. And as he's getting me in the taxi, it just felt so wrong. So I just turned on my phone. I called. I said, where you at? He goes, I'm right here. And I found him. He was right next to me. So I don't know if the guy from the airport was either trying to, you know, have me killed, take my kidney, or just
Maybe.
just want me to pay his buddy that ran the cab.
And so that's the story of Savio Vega being a cool dude?
No. Once I got to the hotel, then I'd met Savio once before, but once I got to the hotel, then I saw Savio, and we were there for 3 months together training. We trained 26 Indian wrestlers that had no wrestling experience and didn't speak English.
Wow.
One of which is the guy that's on TNA now, Mabahali Shira.
How do you remember that?
Because, well, over there his name was Mabahali Viera, but because I guess the company that owns that name, I don't know, maybe still owns it, I don't know.
Okay.
Mabahali Shira.
So that's a good name. That's a good segue into to training, right?
Yep.
So, which is kind of like the reason, like, to have you on again is this
The elusive second time on. Not everybody gets that.
not
man.
everyone gets it.
I
Yeah.
know, I'm very excited.
Yeah, as you should be. No, but like a change in your life again, a career path. To get this third chance, right? Mm-hmm. And I did want to talk about, like, and I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but like the first and second chances were gone.
Yeah.
Because of
long gone.
I mean,
due to my decisions, my poor decisions, my errors in judgment.
right.
I was released in first time 07. I'd failed a drug test. Second time I got hired in 2009. I was there for a week, and I got released because I was told I was out of shape, which I probably was. But my thing was, like, I didn't feel like Eugene had to be a bodybuilder, but maybe I wasn't in as good a shape as they wanted me. Long story short, last time we spoke was July of 2012, right before the big freight train match.
Yes.
Right before my masterpiece. You know what I mean? And probably the next May, I think, I got a call from Bill DeMott, and he said, I want you to come down to Tampa. They were still in Tampa at the time. I want you to come for a week as a assistant coach, as a walk-on coach, or I don't remember what the word. Okay, so I went down there and had a great week. Tampa was awesome. And at the end of the week, they're like, well, we want to consider hiring a new coach when we move to Orlando. Would you consider moving? Absolutely. A couple weeks went by, and then Canyon Seaman called, and he goes, normally I'm not the guy calling with good news, but today I am. He goes, we want to hire you. This was June-ish.
So before that, you were in. I mean, did you just think it was like Well, here I am, probably in my mid to late 30s. I don't know, right? It's just like I'm gonna do what Buddy Landell and Tommy Rich and Ricky Morton, like that's my path. Like, was that your thought? Like, or did you think there was opportunities that were gonna come again?
I didn't know, man, but it just seemed like things just kept happening. You know what I mean?
Before the WWE thing.
Yeah, like the India deal came along. You know, an Australian movie. You were talking about movies. There was an Australian movie that we went over and filmed.
So you were in a movie.
I was in a movie. Actually, I think they're just now trying to push it out. It's called The Tour. Tour. But things just kept happening. So I was like, you know, I'm just going to let them keep rolling until I have to completely break down and
work at Walmart, right?
Yeah, get work at Walmart. I mean, at the time, I was doing personal training at a local gym.
So you did give in to the real job.
A little bit.
What was that like for you?
It wasn't bad because I was still much like a merchandise table. I was just, you know, on, you know, while I was personal training somebody, having them do the exercises, and people were seeing benefits, and it was a good little deal.
But as wrestlers, we just want to sit home when we're not wrestling? No, I don't know.
Yeah. But
you were like getting. So I guess I see what you're saying. Your mentality turned to, all right, well, I'm just going to become a worker, right? While I'm doing
another avenue stream of income, you know?
Right, but it's not wrestling.
It's not.
Which is hard. I would
tough.
think. The day will come, I think,
You know?
for
but
me.
Then, while I was doing that, I was training wrestlers at OVW and then still working independents on the weekend. So, I mean, I wasn't doing too bad. But I was working 3 jobs and you know, from 6 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, I was doing something. You know, but I went down to Tampa for that week and that's I guess that was the week that they started to hire me.
Yeah, so you were in the system, you were with the guys. It's weird because, you know, I went I don't know, I went down for those 3 weeks for and you were down there as a trainer, and even so it's like this, and you tell me how you feel. It's like I saw you and you were so nice, but it was nice that you were nice and joking around with me, but I still was like, oh, get away from me, corporate man. Like, you know, and it's like all you did was put on a tracksuit, or, you know, and now all of a sudden you're like this other side of the table. Like you become a I guess a corporate guy. I mean, did you feel that, or did you?
Yes and no, because I don't know if I was the youngest, but I think I might have been the youngest coach there, or at least the youngest guy coach. I think Sarah Del Rey, probably younger than me, but it was just like I didn't start and work in the business with guys like Billy Gunn or Terry Taylor or Bill DeMott or Norman Smiley, but yet I wasn't young enough to be the boys in NXT with like Neville and Sami Zayn and guys like that.
Guys that you were 2 years ago were on shows with and hanging out with.
Yeah. So I mean, I was kind of in between because I couldn't be buddy with the boys, but I didn't feel like I fit in socially with the other guys in the office, and it was like I mean, most of the time I was just smiling.
Is that a game too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Being just like it was in a locker room. It is. You know, with the trainers.
Yeah, I mean, at least I felt that. I don't know if that really is what goes on, but that was my perception.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what I want to know is your thoughts, your trainer thoughts.
Some of the other coaches would hang out like Super Bowl. They'd have Super Bowl parties, and you know, I didn't feel like I got in like that. And then plus with Stephanie and I moving there, we didn't know anybody.
You and Stephanie McMahon.
No.
And you did that, and you got fired?
Yeah. My fiance's name is Stephanie Fisher, and we moved to Orlando together, but we didn't know anybody. So if like there was a coaches get together and I go, and then she's at home alone, not knowing anybody, you know, it's like, it was a great experience, but socially it was uncomfortable because I don't feel like I got in with those guys on that level, and maybe that's just my perception on the situation, but that's kind of how I felt sometimes. But then again, I felt like that a lot in my life. Like I never, like socially, I don't know where I fit, and sometimes I would say things that I think are funny that might be a little edgy or not funny or not appropriate at the time, and that's just me being nervous and not knowing how to break the ice. But you know.
What about did you like? I don't know. You know, you were in the system. You were in the OVW system. I was in the system, right? Like, there's always things I would say about, you know, and I guess I always said it's never going to be right and it's never going to be perfect. I don't know if you feel that way, and like I don't want the categorized answer of like, you know, like I know, like, oh, well, we tried and did, and it's a big whatever, but like, I want like a real answer of like what you guys were doing or what these guys were doing, or if it was, the right training or the right movements, I guess, from Florida to Orlando. I mean, I guess that performance center is unbelievable. I get that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I just always feel that there's always going to be, I'm rambling a lot, but I guess the feeling is that these guys are never going to be happy unless they're on TV, right? So there's always going to be these trainees who have gripes or chips on their shoulder a little bit, as they should, but then they get shit for then they're getting heat for having chips on their shoulder, right? Does that make sense, or you agree or disagree?
So, like, I don't know that any of the guys got heat for having any chips on their shoulder, but I can see where they might, because...
But they're complaining.
Absolutely.
Because you complained when you were there.
Absolutely.
I complained when I was there.
Absolutely.
John Cena complained. I bet you he did.
Absolutely. But I mean, it's like, I don't know that those gripes got so far to where they're going to get heat unless they did something over the top.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the training is right there. But the fact of the matter is professional wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, is an art form. And what you deem as the right way to perform this art, what I deem, what Billy Gunn deems, what, Baron Von Raschke deems, is all different. And the fact of the matter is if the fans are cheering and spending money, then it's good. And if they're not, then it's not. Mm-hmm. But it's just, it's really tough, I see, for the trainees down there. Most of them have no professional wrestling experience coming in. Some do. The guys that are over there now do, but a lot of the under guys have limited professional wrestling experience, so they're just trying to absorb whatever they can. And they've got 6 different trainers telling them the same story, maybe in a little different accent, and they're trying to pick up something that is unfamiliar to them, from 6 different people, trying to make 6 different people happy. And I saw a lot of them trying to please coaches, and then, so like, let's say you're a coach and I'm a coach, and you tell a student, I want you to work like this, and he goes out and works like this, but I'm the producer on his match. And then I go, what are you doing? That's not what you should do. You should do it like this. And then he's caught between trying to please both of us. And it sucks for those guys, but I think that communication is getting aired out a lot more.
But that's the situation. And then you tell this guy said to do it. You tell that guy, hey, he told me this. Now that guy's in.
You can't say that.
Right?
You can't say that. It's just, yes, sir, I was wrong.
But you should be able to, right? I mean, I guess I want to know, like, what did you see, like, not a better way, but like an ultimate, like, I guess there's got to be one person, right? But then if there's only one person, then it's just that person's vision. Well, so it's a little hard. I guess
the fact of the matter is, everybody that works for that company is working for an audience of one.
Yeah.
It's Vince McMahon or else it's Triple H.
Yeah.
And if you make either of those 2 people happy, then pretty much you're on the right track.
Yeah, but you have to
get on the radar.
Those bullets around.
Yeah, you have to get on the radar.
Yeah, it's, oh, fuck. It just seems like a headache. I hope those guys are doing all right.
I hope so. I mean, I made a lot of friends there, and it's a great group of guys.
So you were fired again.
Fired again.
Did you laugh about it, or were you like, my life?
So, I was hired, and I was supposed to start September 1st of 2013, so I cleared all my bookings, and then a couple things happened where I didn't actually start till the end of September. So there was about a month period there where I had no bookings, no income, no nothing, waiting in limbo for them to sign the countersign the contract, which ended up happening, and then it was like, in 2 weeks, you got to start. So I picked up, I found a place online to rent, moved down there, got there. I worked hard. I did everything that was asked of me. I don't feel like I was a bad employee. I feel like I was a good employee. At one point, they're like, we're trying to get raises for this group of people. You are one of them. But that was shortly after the stock tanked. So all of a sudden it was like all hiring and raises were on freeze. But I was pulled aside and I was told, listen, you're doing good, and we're trying to get you more money. We're trying to get you a raise. So it's like, awesome. So about 2 weeks later, I got pulled aside and said, no, it's not working out. You are not, what was the term that they used?
Cosmetically pleasing?
No, it was the, you're not up to WWE standard.
Wow.
And we're going to have to let you go.
So, not that I want you to sit here and bury whoever says that. I remember I had a job out of college, and I worked as a teacher's assistant, right? And as assistant, my teacher was awful. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I foresaw the day where I got called in and was saying, you're not doing good, and I was like, oh, she's putting me on the hook. Now I'm not saying like that's what's happening, but like, was there scenarios where you saw that coming, or does it just come out of left field? You know.
I mean, I feel like it came out of left field.
Yeah.
I mean, especially because 2 weeks earlier, I was told that I was next in line to get a raise.
Right.
But I mean,
and I know it's easy to like throw the blame to somebody else. And not even like, of course you want to. Like, you never want to say like, oh, I sucked as a trainer.
so as a coach, I feel like I was good as any coach there. As a producer, I didn't have as much experience as the other guys, and that was a stressful job. Especially
Is that part of the coaching now?
Yes,
to produce.
Yes. So like NXT might do 3 or 4 TV tapings. You get there at 1 o'clock. The meeting starts at 2 o'clock. You get out at 4 o'clock. Doors open 5:30. You got an hour and a half to produce 4 matches, and all 4 of those matches have 3 other matches that they're trying to put on. So it was like fast paced. That was just like above my head. I didn't have a whole lot of responsibility for that, but one of the takeovers, which was Sylvester Lafort against Soft, the hair versus hair match, I produced that one, and I thought it was really good. I thought I was doing well as a producer, but if anything I can say that I lacked, it was my producing skills, but I don't think they were horrible. You know? When you go on as a talent for WWE or even as a coach, I knew it was a temporary job. I was hoping to get 4 to 7 years.
Yeah, I'm wondering
You
like
know?
what your mindset.
I was hoping to get 4 years, 7 at best, and I got 2. So
Thinking what, like that's the amount of money that I could be safe, or I'd like to know what's in your head wanting 4 to 7 years.
that's just what I was assuming I would get. I thought at least it would be 3 to 4, hopefully 4, maybe if I did well 7, but ain't nobody going to retire from that company. Maybe Howard Finkel, but that's it.
Nobody's going to retire set.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a few guys will retire set. I didn't figure I would retire set from that company.
From that job.
Yeah.
So what was 4 to 7? Just that's going to be my job?
That is what I assumed.
And what was your plan afterwards?
To open a wrestling school in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Seriously, that was it.
You were like in 7 years in 2019.
I was just going to ride it as long as it would ride, but I knew at some point it would end. And I was trying to get everything set financially so that when I made that jump, it would be much easier. You know, which it's not difficult now, but I would like to have another 2 years in Florida living on the beach.
Yeah. And now Sioux Falls?
Sioux Falls. My fiancée, Stephanie Fisher, is from Sioux Falls. She was on TV there for about 15 years. She's well known in the community. And we moved back there, and I'm in the process next week of looking at a building. I'm either going to buy a high spots ring, or there's a gentleman in Winnipeg that tells me he has a ring that's well built.
Oh, I'm going to say highspots.com for your finest wrestling ring.
Absolutely.
I highly recommend.
No, that is it. But then I got to take into I got to figure out how am I going to get it here. You know
Michael
what I mean?
from High Spots will be happy to help you out.
I want to get a trailer and I want to get the ring, and I want to get it set here. But I'm weighing all my options.
So this is like official. This is the next step.
I just got my LLC papers back last week. Midwest All Pro is going to be the name of the company.
So you're going to start a promotion too.
It's not going to be big, but I eventually want to start having some shows. Yeah.
Who does anybody run in South Dakota?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Not that I know
Is there
of.
any
Not at all.
wrestlers in South Dakota?
Not that I know of. No.
So you're gonna Danny Davis this thing.
I hope so.
Start them from scratch.
I hope so.
Make your little niche. And Sioux Falls is it's a pretty big town.
160,000 people,
Yeah.
250,000 people in the metropolitan area.
Nobody runs Sioux Falls.
Not that I know.
Have you
no.
scoped it out?
Yeah, big time.
You don't see
So,
any
like-
posters around town.
No posters.
With
So-
Tatanka coming to town.
Greg Valentine. So, but Stephanie knows, like, she was on TV and she was on a country music television show. She was like a VJ for a country music video show. But she knows a
On
lot.
CMT?
No, but it was local in Sioux Falls.
Okay.
But she knows a lot of the people that ran the buildings when all the events came in town.
Gotcha.
And there is a huge, there's small buildings, there's medium-sized buildings, then there's 2 big buildings. But the medium-sized buildings are good size, can hold a lot of people, are financially, okay to run.
Yeah, and you've got the she's a TV girl, so you have the TV connections, or hey, put us on the news or whatever, right? Is that
So there's a local sports radio station, FM station, that's going to give me a segment a week to talk about pro wrestling and to promote.
Hey, you're jumping on the podcast.
It's radio, but I'm trying my best.
You're getting in there, yeah.
Like Steph wants to have a podcast so bad, but I'm like, you work hard at this, and I don't know that I could put that much effort into it and make it, something that good.
Well, if it's just you and her, the Sioux Falls.
Yeah, but we have to talk to somebody.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
I guess. After years with being over there, it's how much can you really talk about, right? I don't know.
We have to have something to talk about with somebody. I don't know.
A shtick. You need a shtick.
Exactly.
My shtick is just bullshitting.
Yeah.
You got to find a shtick. That's so many times I've thought about, like, it's weird because I'm at 35. I'm at at an age where I was like, when I was 28, I'm like, oh, when I'm 35, I'm going to start my sewing, my outfits, and maybe I'll start a school. And it's like, you have all of these things, but for me, they've never I've been able to put it off and still just wrestle, but this is coming to fruition, you see.
Well, honestly, you were kind of motivation for me.
Okay.
Because there would be some nights where I couldn't sleep, and I would just play video games, and I would listen to the podcast, listen to your podcast.
Yeah, you're always great about tweeting me and
I do. I enjoy it. But the one thing that I hear you say over and over is do it yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have connections and abilities, and I always thought, well, maybe if I got with this company and I use my connections to get in there, or maybe if I called this person and if he runs a show, and I'm thinking, why don't I just run my own show? Mm-hmm. Why don't I just use all these connections to start my own promotion? If I have these legitimate connections, which I feel like I do, why am I going to go make this guy money? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why am I going to train somebody and pour my heart into it and make this amount of money when I can do it myself and make all the money? So it's like, and listening to you talk about the sewing and the T-shirts and putting out videos and all this stuff that you're doing, it's like, why couldn't I do that?
But I want to hit on the. It makes sense, and we can say it to ourselves. I want to make all the money. It sounds awful when you say it out loud, and even watching you go and be like, I want all the money, But it's so true. If we're gonna put in all the efforts,
yeah.
And at the end of the day, right, we want our art out there, and we want it, but if we're going to put in the effort, we want all the money.
It's the money, but it's also the legacy. It's the niche in the business. I could have went back to Louisville and worked for OVW and tried to make OVW even better than it is now and increase their legacy, which I would have loved to do because my heart would have been to it. But why don't I do it for myself? Why don't I carve out, my niche here? And it was, you were talking to Jake Manning, and Jake talked about having to move to North Carolina to be trained. And I'm thinking, Sioux Falls has no wrestling school. And all the guys that I met from the Midwest had to move somewhere else to be trained. So bring that school here for the athletes here that want to pursue that dream.
It's kind of like, I feel like Jake the Snake Roberts in 2004 moved to England. Here's a good example. God, I don't want to say this. Orlando Jordan moved to Australia.
He lived with my buddy Zoran.
There it is.
Yeah.
So and at the time, no WWF wrestler was training people in England.
I know.
This is amazing. I always say because especially when we go to these small towns, you more than me, but it's just why is this guy who was on TV coming to my shitty little small town and say that? Wait, I can go train with Jake the Snake in Manchester, England, when he was my hero growing up, traveling all over the world. Same with Orlando. Orlando Jordan was on WWF television. Now he's in Australia. Same way. It's but what you become is. You'll appreciate this. Who's the Russian who lived in Missouri?
Oleg?
No, not in wrestling. Russia, America be very, very good to me.
Wow.
Fuck. Boris Zukov? No.
Zukov, did he live there?
No, wait, who?
Boris Zukov?
No. It wasn't a wrestler. It was the comedian from the 80s.
Oh, Yakov Smirnoff?
Yakov Smirnoff,
yeah.
right? Do you know the story of him in Branson, Missouri?
No.
Yeah, he's the king of Branson, Missouri.
Yeah. I remember I was driving through Branson and I saw the poster, the billboards, yeah.
Yeah, so
He's the king of Branson.
Yeah, but small town, shitty Branson, what's there? Oh, Yakov Smirnoff.
Yeah.
So you become the king of small town South Dakota.
You know, Sioux Falls, South Dakota is the best little city in America. All right, it's the Queen City of the West.
Now you're cutting a promo.
Well, no, but like I wanted to learn something about Sioux Falls, so I looked up the Wikipedia page, as you do, and that's what it said: the best little city in America and the Queen City of the West.
Oh, that's their tag, the best little city in America.
Yeah, I still don't know what that means, but like for the past, I don't know, a couple years, 2 of the past 7 years or something, they've got the #1 rating to start a business, the best town to start a business. The government taxes are low in a certain aspect, which springs up all these banks there. All the banks have moved to South Dakota because the laws there are so cheap. But then again, there's all these small banks, which then want to lend money to small businesses. So, I mean, it feels right. You know, I haven't been, when I first started professional wrestling in 96, I was like all in, passionate, 24/7, you know. And
Body feels good.
Body feels good, but I haven't had that drive and passion since I was first starting out.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I have this. I'm excited. You know, I'm every day I'm wanting to do something else, and Steph's wanting to go.
What do you want to do? What do you mean? Like,
I want to get the school up and running. You know, I want to start promoting. I want to get it. I want to get it going. You know, it's just it's exciting to me.
Good. Yeah,
You know?
I know. I mean, I know that feeling of
Yeah,
like,
and I haven't had it in a long time.
Right.
At least business wise.
of wanting to like.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here. I could be creative. What should I do? That's how I feel. I'm like, what should I do creative? Let me pour it out somehow.
Yeah.
And then I just sit on the couch and watch TV. But you know, I know the drive there. Well, cool, man. I kind of had a weird question. I don't know if we hit on this last time, and I'm leaving all of this South Dakota talk. Eugene, a lot of interaction with like kids with Down syndrome and stuff.
Occasionally,
Yeah.
but it's all been good. Like most of the time, it'll be a special young man that'll come up and want a hug and an autograph and a picture, but then it's always the family that comes to me and says, "Listen, you know, when he saw you on TV, that's when he realized that he could do anything. You've been a bigger inspiration to him than like anybody." You know, I remember one guy, you know, like in tears saying, you know, he came to me and said, "Eugene can be a star, so can I." And it's like it. I mean, I feel blessed and humbled to be in that position.
Do you feel a lot of families like saw the character and then like tried to explain to their special needs son or daughter?
I don't think so. It's just like, you know, take it for what it's worth.
I think that would be pretty sweet though.
Yeah.
And like if I had a special needs son.
I mean, it's awesome. It's like the special needs fans love me, but it's like the families are so like, you know, you've done something for him that nobody else could do. Mm-hmm. And it's like it's really, I mean, it's humbling.
And Sam, I know this might take it back to the last one, but was it based off of somebody?
So no, like Rip Rogers.
I want to say it was based off Rip's.
Rip's son has autism.
Yeah.
And Rip came to me with the idea of, what about a wrestler that can't be social, he can't tie his shoes, but once the bell rings, he sees stuff that he can do stuff he saw on TV.
Did you meet his? Do you know his?
Absolutely,
son?
Muggsy. Yeah, I know Muggsy. Marcus.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what? God, this is just hitting me now. Isn't there a special fan that came around WWE for years named Eugene?
That was where the name came from.
Yeah.
There's a guy in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And his name was Eugene. And apparently he would come much, I think, before our generation, like in the Bulldogs generation, he would come. And I think his dad might have made boots for the guys or something, to where the boy would come around, but they would let him go to the ring and get the guys' jackets and come back. Mm-hmm. And apparently there's stories of like him just being mischievous in the back. Like, there was a story that he had like everybody's Rolex on and Vince's fur coat, and he's walking around picking up like trucks, like boxes that go on the trucks that are all muddy and dirty, and like everybody's like, "Get the damn jacket off of him," you know. But everybody loved him, and they would like, you know, supposedly, I don't know if this is true or not, but I think Moolah might have christened the boy.
Wow.
Supposedly, because
look at what a trooper.
He was very affectionate towards Moolah. He enjoys Moolah. Yeah.
Is he still around?
I believe so. Yeah.
Did you meet him?
Yeah, absolutely. I got my picture with him. He had the Eugene shirt. You know,
Did he love it?
Absolutely.
He loved it.
Yeah.
And I listen. I don't know if I assume, you know, we're from the same blood, I feel, so I assume you were just like a sucker for that. Like, that's a great story.
Absolutely.
And like that's a great, like, you know, especially that era. Were you? I mean, that was my era.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
The Bulldogs was the one I love.
Yeah.
Tag team wrestling, guys that were doing moves, look big fit, awesome.
And to know, like, you got kind of like to be christened with.
Yeah.
I used christened after you, not christened in that way. But,
I was hoping Mula would, but she never did.
Probably would. You probably,
I wish.
That's nice. That's nice. Oh man. All right. So when's the school coming up? Where do they hit you up? People in South Dakota, they want to
Midwest All Pro is the name.
Yeah.
I got my Midwest All Pro Twitter at Midwest All Pro. I don't personally do Instagram, but I opened an Instagram account, Midwest All Pro. MidwestAllPro.com is under construction, but I'm hoping to have classes by the fall, and then hopefully at some point, I don't know when I want to run a show, but I want to run like one big show in Sioux Falls to like kick off the training
all your
center.
friends, all your connections,
and
right?
get the word out in Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
The school's here, and this is what it's going to be.
You're all in on Midwest All Pro, huh?
That's it, man. That's it, right?
Yeah, well.
MAP. We're going to put wrestling on the map.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Who thought of that?
It came.
You wrote it down.
No. It's one of those things that like it wrote it and it's like there it is.
Map.
Yeah, put it on the map. Because there's no wrestling in Sioux Falls. Boom. That little pin like on Google Maps. Boom.
Sure,
Put the pin right there. MAP.
Cool. Anything else I need to know about you and
Billy
life?
Gunn loves Freight Train.
Loves them. I was
him.
gonna fuck, and I'm glad
I used to play Freight Train at least every day. That might be why I got fired because I played Freight Train matches and the Freight Train song like daily, and Billy would laugh and Robbie Brookside would get pissed, and if Riga was there I couldn't play it because he would stretch me, and it was just like
Brookside would get pissed.
Yeah.
But from watching Freight Train, or was just enough was enough?
At the end, enough was enough. Yeah, like he watched a couple, then it was like again today, really.
Yeah,
but.
That's a good.
Billy, like, every time I get Billy to giggle and we'd watch, And
I think that's the idea: is you start this thing, you do this thing, and you hope that these guys in that position watch it.
Yeah,
it's
I mean, the thing is, I don't know if Freight Train gets it, but everyone's coaches knows who he is.
Yeah.
Grado's the same way.
Yeah.
Grado went to Orlando to work for TNA and then had a tour of the Performance Center.
Well, we'll bleep that out for his sake.
but then he posted it.
Oh, okay.
On his Twitter. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, fuck it, mate,
Is he Australian now?
Yeah, he's Australian. I don't have very good Scottish
That's
accent.
worse than me.
I know, I don't have very good Scottish accent.
You got to talk in gibberish, and that's the Grado talk. Yeah, good. That's fun.
So I took Grado to the beach there where Hogan has his beach shop. Beach shop.
First of all, I got a Vox from him. You are the sweetest man. know that. He's like, this Dinsmore, he picked me up. Now I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm doing a southern London accent.
Take him to the beach there, not far from where Hulk Hogan has his beach shop. We stop in the beach shop. Grado buys all of his merchandise. The guy goes...
All of it.
All of it. The guy goes, Hogan's going to be here in about 2 hours. So we go to the beach. We sit fun in the sun. We come back that way.
Maybe have a workout with Luke upstairs?
We went up and saw Luke, but we didn't necessarily get a workout. Saw Luke. Grado got his picture with Bushwhacker Luke. He was so excited. We go to the beach. We're coming back. We stop in front of Hogan's beach shop. I said, he might be in there. He might not. Stephanie wants to fix her makeup and fix her hair. She goes, I'm not getting out of the Jeep until I get my makeup. So she takes about 5 minutes to get her makeup on.
45 minutes. Let's be
5
honest.
minutes.
Okay.
We go in there. You just missed him by 5 minutes.
Oh. Was he upset with Steph?
No, he wasn't upset with her, but I think he was crushed. Like, he didn't show it. He didn't sell it, but I think he was crushed.
Because I get the Voxes and I get the messages when he meets a Vader or a Dinsmore or a whoever. But the Hulkster.
I know.
Right?
We just missed him.
Oh,
we literally just missed him.
That was the big one.
I know.
Like that's his.
And I tried to tell him, it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't your time. It's not your night, kid.
One day when you make it to television, he'll be there. All right, bud. Give me your Twitter and stuff again.
Eugene Twitter at Eugene Eugene Dinsmore Dinsmore. But the new Midwest All Pro,
Okay.
Midwest All Pro at Midwest All Pro.
Hey, we're putting wrestling on the map.
We're gonna put it on the map, brother.
Thanks for being on.
Thanks, Colt.
Yay.
Eugene Dinsmore, Midwest All Pro. That first show Saturday, November 7th, MidwestAllPro.com if you want to train and you're in that area and get trained by the best. Eugene, thanks for being on the show, man. Before we get out of here, let's get in some plugs and
upcoming events.
All right, the best way that you can support ColtMerch.com, digitalcolt.com, Twitter and Instagram at Colt Cabana, Facebook AOW Podcast and Colt Cabana. ColtWrestling at gmail.com is my very public email. Maybe you want to put me on your upcoming show or convention. CutMyPromo.com. That's a web series. Check out my YouTube channel and ColtCabana.com. That's where you can see the P.O. Box. Send me some snail mail. Send me something fun so I can come home to it when I get home from Japan. Upcoming October 16th and November 8th. I'm in Japan. If you're in Japan, come check me out. noah.co.jp through that Google Translate. Friday and Saturday, November 13th and 14th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Queens, New York, houseofhardcore.net. That's that Tommy Dreamer promotion. Sunday, November 15th, Ontario, Canada. Doing a live podcast at 2 o'clock. Doing a show at 4 o'clock. Alpha-1wrestling.com. Friday and Saturday, November 20th and 21st, Sayreville and Keyport, New Jersey. ProWrestlingSyndicate.com. Wednesday, November 25th in Chicago, the Cards Against Humanity headquarters. Tickets are at ColtCabana.com. And Saturday, November 28th, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, WrestleCade.com. Thank you, everybody. That is the show for this week. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for telling your friends to subscribe. Thanks to Eugene. Check him out in his new home. Thanks to Cable Guy Jeff and Stu Stone. Thanks to Kid Russell, Matt Jenkins on the music, Dane Miller with that tech. How about our sponsors, highspots.com, hundreds of full-length titles available to download, $5 wrestling titles, AMA, knee pads, gears, mask, WrestleCon. You going to WrestleCon in Dallas? You know I'll be there. OneHourTees.com, they help run ProWrestlingTees.com, the place where you can directly support your favorite independent wrestler directly. Money goes to them and lots of it. And tweakedaudio.com/Colt, earbuds that I use, get over 30% off and free shipping just because you listen to the show. Cubs win. Cubs win. Holy cow. As a wise man once said, you know, we were doing Harry Carey impressions before Will Ferrell was even on the scene. Hector Villanueva. I mean, I was 8 years old and I knew he was drunk. Like, he was drunk on the air, drinking a Budweiser. And, it's like, you don't know when you're a kid, but when you know it's bad. Harry was great. Harry and Steve Stone, those were my two growing up and listening to him. So any suggestions? Hey, tweet me where I'm going to watch this thing while I'm in Japan. Is it Cubs.com? Do they have a live stream? How does that work? I don't even know. I know I'm going to have my Doug DeCenzo shirt on, and I'll be supporting the team. Go Cubbies! This has been The Art of Wrestling. For Colt Cabana, I'm Colt Cabana. Thanks.